Stargate SG-1 is being taken back to Amazon Prime. Not on MGM Plus, not on some pay-for-view thing, actual Amazon Prime. This is going to really excite fans. But could it mean Amazon are getting ready again to give us what we really want? New Stargate. Welcome to Tachyon Pulse Podcast.
Our Tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
First of all, I'm going to say this isn't going to be here in the UK. I have actually checked my Amazon Prime. It's not on there. It's still on MGM Plus. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be anyway, because actually Amazon and MGM have a deal with Sky. Sky over here in the UK have the rights to Stargate, and they show it on a couple of different Sky channels. So I don't think it's going to be the UK. But where am I getting this from? Well, it's a website called Glass Almanac, which is actually related to Google Glass. It's a relatively reliable website as far as I'm aware. And they are reporting, though, that Stargate SG-1 is returning to Amazon Prime. So I think this is going to be in the US, Canada, and maybe a couple of other regions. Guys, get into the comments now and tell me. Go and check. Is SG-1 on your Amazon Prime? If it isn't, it might be very soon. The website didn't actually say when it was supposed to be going on to Amazon Prime, but I am going to put a link to the story in the description. So, what else is on there? Is SGA on? No. The website says that is going to stay on MGM Plus, so we can watch SG-1, but if you will need to pay a little bit of money to get MGM Plus to watch the rest. It also actually says that a couple of TV movies, Continuum and Arc, will be on Amazon Prime, but will be on a rental basis, so that will be behind a paywall. But still pretty exciting. But why do I mention that this could be a good thing for the return of Stargate? Well, I have to go back a little bit. But before I go into that, I am going to tell you, I have asked around. I have even asked my source over at MGM, who works at MGM Plus, who's been able to actually feed me some official stuff in the past. And they're saying they don't know anything about a new Stargate project. It has gone very quiet. I will, though, add a caveat onto that the MGM Plus says there is no project, and this is the bit I was interested by, that I'm allowed to talk about. Now, no idea what that means, but it sounds intriguing. But why do I think this could be a good sign that Amazon are once again building up to something? Well, going back 2 years now, but before the writers' strikes, it was pretty well known that Amazon were pushing forwards with a movie. It was, and it talked about on Deadline, it was talked about on loads and loads of websites, even though a couple of the bigger websites did come out and say, we know what the advert's going to be that they're going to drop on SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con. And I happen to know that wasn't true. There was never any, video clip or advert or whatever prepared. They'd never got that far. But it is true that at San Diego Comic-Con, before the writers' strikes, that would have been 2023, they were going to announce a Stargate movie. And as I said, that was widely reported 6 months after I dropped the exclusive about it. So, why do I say that's related to this? Because 6 to 9 months before that, Amazon put SG-1 on Amazon Prime. They did that very clearly because they wanted to build up a little bit of excitement. And they only removed it, I think it was just after the writers' strikes in the United States. Again, it didn't go on Amazon Prime here in the UK because of the Sky deal. It does look like they're doing it again. Why do they do it? There is a very simple rule here that they're doing it to get some excited about Stargate SG-1. Now, the movie got dropped during the writers' strikes. I have had sources that have told me they saw, in actually Poland and England, some of the very early mock-ups. The one guy I said he actually saw a mock-up of the Stargate. But he said he doesn't think it was actually the Stargate that was being built for the movie. He said it was a very early version just to try and get it to see how it would work. So obviously got moving parts, light up parts, etc. So he said, I'm pretty sure it was just a very, very early mock-up. We were not in pre-production, even though I hear there is a script. I also hear that that movie was going to be sort of a hybrid continuation. It was going to be a standalone movie that exists within the SG-1, SG-A, SG-U universe, but doesn't necessarily reference those. So there wouldn't been any legacy characters, etc. I'm told that was simply because it still then leads them us into Stargate, but it leaves it open what they then do following it. They could do a brand new series that doesn't reference SG-1, SG-U, SG-A, based off that movie, or they could do a full-blown continuation as what we want, and they could actually bring back some legacy characters. So, as I say, Amazon have done this before, and I was always told, going back 3 years, that just before Amazon would release an announcement of a new SG project, Stargate project, they would first, you would see Stargate all over the place. You would see new Lego models. You would see, which is actually why this happened basically, as the run up for the movie. Amazon did a deal with Blue Bricks and released a load of Stargate models. So you would see things like that. You would see maybe a couple of comic book series or new books, and you would see Amazon Prime picking up SG-1 or SG-U or SG-A. There would be a concerted effort before the announcement of the new project by Amazon MGM to get Stargate out there and get it back into the public consciousness. As I say, actually putting Stargate SG-1 on Amazon Prime is quite expensive. They have to put 240 episodes, something like 200 hours of content on their servers. And it's not cheap. Actually, you think it's just goes, oh, it's going to computer someone, it pumps it to our screens. It's not like that, which is why Disney, when they actually got rid of, I think it was about 500 hours of television, which is basically half what this is, saved themselves about 50 million quid in costs for keeping stuff on their servers around the world so that we could watch it. So I'm not saying it would cost 25 million quid for them to put Stargate on, because actually Amazon have a service system of their own that's actually relatively reasonable. Netflix were losing money actually until they shifted to, I think it's called AWS, Amazon Web Server, I think that's right. When they shifted to them, they cut their costs significantly, and actually Netflix started making money again. They did that about 3 years ago, I believe. So they have a server system that's relatively inexpensive, but it does still cost millions of dollars to put these things onto the servers. So again, they're not going to do it just for no reason. But they will make money on it because Stargate is still very well watched. And I tell you what, if they put it Amazon Prime now, I've got Amazon Prime, I would start watching it. I don't have Sky, so the only way I can watch it is if I get MGM Plus, which I will do again. But at the moment, I've got Apple to watch Bad Robot, I've got Amazon Prime, I've got Netflix, and I've got Disney. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I'm actually quite excited by this because, again, my sources have been telling me that Amazon are ready to go again with the movie idea. Now, things like Donald Trump and his tariffs on foreign movies does put a potential spanner in the works, because studios don't really know what he's going to do. But obviously what they could do is just shift a lot of the production away from somewhere like Poland to the UK. They don't even have to shift it back to America, because even Donald Trump has been talking about a trade deal basically with certain countries like Canada, for example, where a lot of American television is produced, that would allow those shows, movies, etc. to be made in those countries without, those tariffs. If they didn't do that, companies like Disney, Amazon, even Warner Brothers would really struggle, because they produce an awful lot of their television and movies in the UK and in Canada. So it does look like that's what will happen. So they would have to shift the production away from maybe Eastern Europe, where they originally were planning, I'm told, and bring it back to the UK more. Some of this, I'm told, was going to be produced in the UK, this project back from 2023. So will it be the same project? We just don't know. It does seem that during the strikes, they dropped the Stargate movie plan. Again, this was, and again, if you're a regular viewer of mine, you'll know what I'm about to say. It was basically because the calendar following the strikes got very compacted. They had all of the stuff they needed to do during the strikes and all the stuff they planned to do after the strikes, and all of this stuff they had to do all at once, and they didn't have any extra capacity in their studios. So they had to pick and choose what they were going to do. And a lot of projects either got delayed or dropped. Jen Salke, I'm told, was never that bothered about doing Stargate. She just thought it was basically, she was told to do about 10 cinema movies a year. They were given £1 billion to do it, and she thought Stargate could be one. And it was apparently no more than that. Mike Hopkins, who's now took over Jennifer Salke's role, who's basically sacked her off, and he's already the head of the studio sort of thing, but he's far more hands-on now, was the one that was always very keen on exploiting the MGM IP, and he was very annoyed with Jennifer Salke that she wasn't. It is one of the reasons why she got sacked. The whole thing with James Bond was the main reason she got sacked, but that was an important reason as well. Out of all of the MGM IP that Amazon spent $8.6 billion buying, I think the only thing they've actually done, or that's actually in production, is Spaceballs 2. That's not good enough after 4 years. So, Mike Hopkins was far keener. It does seem now that Amazon have finally started to build up their studio space. That I told you again, guys, that last summer a lot of their studio space was starting to come online. It does mean they're building their own capacity so they can produce this themselves. And we might actually be just about to start to see the fruits of that work. Because now they have the capacity. And that's always been a big problem. SG-1 going back onto Amazon Prime may be a bit 2 + 2 = 5 movie, yay! But it also may be the indicator that we've been looking for, because this is what we were always told would happen. Get Stargate back into the public consciousness, and then when you announce it, there's a bit of excitement. A lot of the fans have begun to lose confidence that Amazon would ever do this. I have lost confidence at time. I have thought, it's never gonna happen. But this is basically what we were told would happen. I would now love it if we saw either a Lego deal for Stargate, or we heard about another game, something better than Timekeepers, for God's sake, or a comic book series or something like that, because that would then really, really make me think, we do have some audiobooks and things apparently that might be coming along, and I think we've had some before. It's not my cup of tea really, I have to admit, but they do. We get novels every so often, but I'd be really interested if we see a comic book or graphic novel series. That would be really interesting, because that would be following basically what Paramount did with Star Trek. They started with the graphic novels that lead into the movie as a way of almost like a cheap advert. Do you know what I mean? For to get you into getting ready for the new movie, new series. Will it be a movie or series? Again, we don't really know. They have flip-flopped on it so much with Amazon that I can't now tell you what they're going to do. Unless I hear something through a source, and hopefully we'll hear something if they start building up towards it. I think they're still doing the movie. The last thing I heard was movie. So, and last thing I heard, it was a movie that would be announced by the end of this year, which obviously 6 months before is what they did last time when they put SG-1 on Amazon Prime, so the timeline kind of fits. So, there is that. I think it's probably still going to be the movie. But with Mike Hopkins in charge now, that is an element to this story that we're not really 100% sure what he might do. He could, and I'm told he's very decisive. I'm told when he makes a decision, he just goes, do it. So he could just turn around and go, you know what? I've looked at the metadata. Fans don't want a movie. Do a series, damn it. And we could just get a series. So let's cross our fingers for that, because I'd love a series with legacy characters. That'd be cool. But I'm leaning more towards the movie. But I have to say, I've not heard anything definitive just yet. So, yes, For the naysayers that have jumped into the comments already and said that this is conjecture, he's talking out of his arse again, I am to a degree. And I appreciate that. But this is a thing that I'm very excited about. And I'm excited, so I want to share my excitement with you. But it is logical what I'm talking about. It does fit the timeline of what we were told previously. And I want to keep an eye open on things like Deadline. Deadline got an idea of this last time. They got a whiff of it last time. It would not surprise if we hear something again. It does seem to be Deadline that gets a lot of the information from Amazon first. So again, keep an eye on that. But I will be keeping an eye on it for you. So, I'll tell you if I hear anything. I'm very excited. Get into the comments though and tell me what you think. There will be people that have already commented that this is a load of rubbish, it's not going to happen. I'm a believer. So let's hope. But get into the comments and tell me what you think. Is the fact that it's going on Amazon Prime a good sign? At very least, a good sign. Or actually, do you think, yeah, it makes sense that they're going to do this before they announce something? I don't think it's going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. I think it will be towards the end of the year. Maybe like one of the later Comic-Cons towards the end of the series. I think like New York Comic-Con's quite late or something like that, or Vegas Comic-Con. I think they're a bit later in the year. San Diego Comic-Con is June or July. I don't think we're going to get something then. But you never know. Like, this is Mike Hopkins. We don't know. I actually think they'll keep it quite close to the chest, then just announce something. I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, if I don't even hear anything about it. And I've got sources. The MGM Plus guy, little tinker, saying that has got me excited as well. But get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. How many chevrons do you think are locked by this? I'm going like 5. I'm increasing confidence again. I've been down to 2 over the last 12 months, but I'm back up to 5. So fingers crossed. But get into the comments, tell me what you think. Waffled a bit in this episode, this video. Got a bit excited. I'm not going to edit any of it out either. I'm not going to edit it at all. No, that's how I roll, baby. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and you get to see a lot of these videos up to 24 hours before everybody else. You lucky bunnies. Go check it out. As always, please stay safe. I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.